We have our all-star cast from Indianapolis joining us for tonight's event, and we're really excited to hear from everyone. Not only do we have our agent and market specialist, Mr. Christopher Haven-Jones, but also his assistant, Sarah, who does a lot for us evaluating properties and getting inventory up on the website. And also our property manager from Red Door Property Management, Mr. Mike Taylor himself. So we're excited to have everyone joining us tonight, and let's get to it. So again, my name is Kristen Tabar. As I mentioned, I'm a real estate advisor and realtor here with Marshall Reddick. I've been with the company going on 3 years now, and I've been an agent in California for a couple of years. Actually got my start at Marshall Reddick Real Estate because my husband and our VP, Mr. Scott Pastel, went to high school together. So we started investing in real estate with Scott through Marshall Reddick, and I actually became an employee after that. So I'm happy to say that I get to practice what I preach. In fact, one of my favorite markets, as I have personal experience in it, owning property myself, is Indianapolis. So this is my fan family here. Justin is 3, Cassie's 1, and that's the whole fam together in the middle. Again, just a little bit more about me. I graduated from Cal State Long Beach with a degree that has nothing to do with real estate, so I get to stare at an expensive piece of paper now and again. An investor myself for the last few years, and really excited to work with all of my clients here. And please, if you have questions, you can type them in and ask me throughout the presentation. I'm always happy to share what my experience has been investing and owning in the Indianapolis market. All right, a little bit about Marshall Reddick Real Estate. For those of you who are joining us for the first time tonight, welcome, and glad that you were able to hop on tonight's broadcast. Marshall Reddick Real Estate is a full-service brokerage here in California, so we work with our local buyers and sellers, and also with our teams across our 16 U.S. markets, including Indianapolis. We're a full-service property management company here in California as well, and we manage property from LA down to San Clemente. And we also are a private money lender. So not only do we offer our clients the opportunity to purchase real estate using private loans through using their self-directed IRAs or LLCs, but we also offer our investors the opportunity to invest in those mortgages and trust deeds. So for those of you who aren't really sure that purchasing inventory is the right path for you, we can talk lending. So hopping into several of the reasons that we've selected Indianapolis as one of our investment markets, how do we choose and what are those criteria? And you'll hear from Christopher and Mike and Sarah on a lot of these tonight. We want to have a strong job market. Lots of jobs means lots of employees, means lots of money so they can pay your rent. And we want a low vacancy rate. High rental demand and high occupancy rate means that your properties are getting rented and those vacancies are being filled quickly. Lots of economic diversity also ties into having that strong job market. We want a lot of different avenues for folks to find employment. We want housing affordability, not only for renters, but also for owners. And we want a state that's landlord friendly. A lot of our listeners probably own real estate in California, and we know that it's not the most landlord friendly state. That is not true of Indianapolis. Very landlord friendly. We have very strong management out there. It's a really great market to own rental property. We want good education. Good education means good workforce. And finally, reliable property management. So luckily for all of you on the line tonight, Indianapolis checks off all of these boxes, and we are happy to have it as one of our investment markets. The other 15 markets are up here on your screen. Of course, tonight we'll be focusing in on just one. But for those of you who get to the end of the presentation and think, maybe Indy's not for me, there's several other markets to choose from. So before we hop into the main event, we're going to do a quick poll question to make sure that everybody's paying attention. All right, so I'm interested in Indianapolis, Indiana because, and you have a few choices. I'm interested in Indianapolis for the cash flow, for the appreciation potential. I have friends or family there. I threw a dart at the map and hit Indy, or I'm just here to learn. So I'll give you guys a few seconds here to fill out your answers. And these are not going to be shared with anyone. This is just for us to get an idea of what all of you folks are looking for, so that we know what motivated you to join us tonight. So looks like we've got a good amount of you chiming in. I think some people fell asleep already. Sorry about that. I'll try to be less boring. Just kidding. Hopefully you're not asleep. All right, so let's share our results. 61% are interested in Indy for the cash flow. Well, you guys came to the right place and you're in the right market. 6% for the appreciation potential. Nobody has friends or family there, and nobody likes to play darts, as it would turn out, but that's okay, and the rest of you are here to learn. So we're happy to have everybody on tonight. We will definitely have a good time, and let's go ahead and hide that poll, and we will move right along with it. How does that sound? So quick overview. Tonight's presentation, what are we going to do? We're going to hear a little bit about Christopher and his team. We're going to hear all about the economy and what's going on in Indianapolis, why we should look at it as an investment market, the real estate and rental market, and we've had Mike Taylor from Red Door come in and join us for that. And then finally, we're going to present some hand-selected properties, and then we'll turn it over to everybody for some Q&A. So with that, it is my pleasure to introduce the Indianapolis team. As I mentioned, we've got Mr. Christopher Haven Jones, a broker and agent with Keller Williams. We've been working with Christopher for a few years now. Off the top of my head, I don't know, which I should. My apologies for that. But very strong agent. He's very dependable, very reliable. You guys can text him just about any time of the day, and I guarantee he'll answer it. His assistant, Sarah, who I mentioned, is assisting a lot with inventory and getting our properties up on the website. And then, of course, Mike Taylor with Red Door. So, Christopher, I'm going to hand it on over to you and let you take it away.
Well, hello, guys. You've been introduced to me. My name is Christopher Haven Jones. I am the lead agent for the Jones team. It's a Keller Williams company. I've been an agent for about 11 years, and I have worked with Keller Williams for the last 2.5 years, and I'm developing my team, which is right now consists of my showing agent, Sarah Van Bachlen, who will be telling you about specific properties here shortly. My job tonight is to introduce you to the city of Indianapolis. I grew up here. I went to high school here. I left for a little bit to go to college, but then family brought me back for a long weekend about 17 years ago. So I love the city. I love everything about it. And there's a lot of exciting opportunities that are happening to us that can translate into solid investment opportunities for you. So I will start with a little bit about me. I started in real estate right around 2006, and in our state we were sales agents first, and I had a fantastic mentor who was working in all pockets of real estate, so I got to have exposure to investment properties early, as well as commercial and then residential, ranging from first-time home buyers all the way up to luxury buyers. So now, all these years later, I have found a strong niche in our downtown urban area, as well as our northern suburbs, and we'll get into those, the various the very areas that surround Indy, where the properties we've identified for you are lying. Right now, what you're looking at is our canal. It's just one of the many features that our city has that is attractive to some of the businesses that are coming in, creating a market demographic for you. All right, Kristen, I am trying to move the slide. And
let's see here.
Everybody out there, I'm really good at talking, but when it comes to managing the PowerPoint, I'll just do my best.
You should be good now. Are you able to move it now?
I am not able to move it. I do not see the I don't see the slide feeder. I just see the main slide that says welcome to Indianapolis. I do not see the other slides on the left-hand side.
You should just be able to use your arrow to click through the slides.
Nope. How about you go ahead and advance the slide for me, and we can figure this out. The next webinar, guys. Honestly, I'm a fantastic negotiator. I'm great at analytics. I'm miserable at door locks and alarm codes and apparently PowerPoint. So now there's our weaknesses. Let's move on to my strengths. We can go ahead and, oh, I think I just advanced it. I take all that back. I am practically perfect in every way. Mary Poppins comes out in Christmas. Okay, so why Indianapolis? Like we see here on the PowerPoint, we have lots of attractions. The job market growth is incredible. Our affordability and then just our historical data in real estate alone are worth taking a solid look and running your analytics on your portfolios. As far as attractions are concerned, we have ranging from sports. We have the NCAA finals here all the time. We've hosted a Super Bowl. We have a professional, now we have what? We have a hockey, football, basketball, women's basketball, soccer. We are stepping up to the big boys for creating attractions and entertainment for not only the residents, which are important to you, but creating interest for the Fortune 5s and Fortune 1 millions to come in. And everybody's heard about Amazon. We're still on the short list, and part of that is our development of attractions, and that is also feeding into our job market growth. If you've heard me speak before, you've heard me speak about Eli Lilly is one of our major feeders. They bring in contract employees that come in on 2 to 5 year contracts several times in a quarter, and many of the homes that we're presenting in the B-level market are exactly what they're looking for. They're going to be here working for a short period of time, so they don't really have an interest in buying property, but they also don't want to feel like they're trapped in an apartment type feeling. And so it's nice that you are able to use your investment dollar to create opportunities for them to have a home while they're here working in Indy. I take it back, Kristen. I need help advancing that again, please.
I don't know what's going on. We had it dialed in before we started.
All right, this is going to go fast, Kristen, so I'll just go ahead. And these are just more examples of our attractions that I listed before. I want to get through this part quickly because the main thing you want to hear, you want to talk to our property management and also hear about the properties that we have to present for you. And as you saw on the previous slide, not only do we have sports, but we've got considerable culture. Like the Eli Lilly Foundation. Eli Lilly did just about all of the development for the majority of Indianapolis and the surrounding areas, including 3 or 4 museums. Our IMA was our Indianapolis Art Museum, which has just changed names, but it's still the Indianapolis Art Museum for those of us that grew up here. And then Conner Prairie, which is a living museum. All of that has been brought to us by companies that started here and are continue to build a job growth market and build a demographic that will turn into your renters. But stay on that slide, please.
Oh, sorry.
So, but now here's some big stats, and if you've not read them, I'll go through them quickly. Indianapolis ranks as the nation's 15th largest city, and we're growing every day. And if we are able to land the Amazon contract and their hub comes, then we're going to be growing exponentially again. And it's I've watched this infrastructure. I grew up here. I'm 45, so I've seen 45 some years of development here, where our infrastructure is finally at a point where we can compete with the Chicagos of the world. Maybe not New York City, but Chicago's and our larger cities across the nation. We're able to support white collar workforce, blue collar workforce, and make very attractive to these Fortune 500 companies. We do have the NCAA here, as I mentioned, and we can move forward. We do rank as the #1 for real estate investing, and that's because of our affordability. We're going to get to that in just a moment. This quick little map, it just shows you we are the crossroads of America, which means that on a one-tank trip, you can get to just about all of these cities. And again, this just feeds into the #1 thing that job creation and major companies like Salesforce just arrived here, they're looking for is to keep their employees interested and create a home. And so our city is working very hard to do that for these companies and creating, outside of just business incentives, but creating employee incentives and habitability incentives, which will then again translate into dollars for you for your investment portfolio. Right, moving forward, Kristen.
Gotcha.
Did I do that or did you do that?
I did that.
Okay, it felt like I did it. Okay,
keep trying, because my computer still says that you have keyboard and mouse control. I can still do it, but it says that you should be able to as well. So I'm not sure why it's not working.
Okay. So looking at the business community, this is just a list of some of the employers that we have and the number of regional employees that are here in the city. I won't go through all of them, but you can just review the slide and see that we have some major players, including AT&T, Eskenazi, St. Vincent's Health. We've got a considerable, with IU, we have one of the world leaders in pediatric research and pediatric advanced therapies. And so with that comes a lot of support that we bring. We need to source out and we bring people in, again, translating into dollars for you as these people are transitioning and renting for a year to 5 years. If we can move forward, Kristen. And we are for your sports fans, education fans. We do have quite a strong educational backbone here. We have several private universities, including Butler. University of Indianapolis is private. We don't have Marion College featured, but that's another private school. We also have our commuter hub, which is the Indiana University, Purdue University, which is our downtown campus. And that campus provides the largest number of postgraduate programs. So when they move through when the undergraduates graduate and move on to their secondary degrees, they matriculate typically here in Indianapolis, once again creating an opportunity which is perfect for you because they are short-term needs, but they don't necessarily want to be cooped up in an apartment. So we're always looking for those opportunities to create habitability. And of course, we have the School of Medicine. We also have the IU School of Law is here as just to add to the secondary schools and the pool of renters you'll have. All right, Kristen, great. And here's just some stats. The ones that are important to you are going to be the cost of living. That's a big number, 7.4% below the US average, which means that you can get a lot more square footage, a lot more frontage, and a lot more space for your dollar than you can at home. I'm assuming most of you are out in California, where our current median, as you can see, is 172 and some change. I can just imagine at your home snickering and pointing out you know, what that could buy in San Diego, for example. Not much. Here, 1724 can buy you a nice four-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2-story with a yard that's fenced in and probably a deck and a nice school district. So as you can see, we'll be able to show up with the numbers that we have for you tonight, as well as the ones that continue to be populated by my showing agent Sarah on the website, that the cost of living is much less than you're probably used to, and that again translates into your positive cash flow. All right, so moving forward, Kristen. And more wonderful stats of why Indianapolis is great, and it ranks number 10th as far as best states for business. That's again feeding into bringing more business, bringing more people. And then these areas, Fishers, Avon, Carmel, Greenwood, are ranked highly, but what's important to you is that Indianapolis is surrounded by these areas. So once we saturate within Indianapolis proper, this is the direction that the folks that are looking to rent and have children, are looking for school districts that are important. These are the directions that they're going, into these areas. Fishers is Hamilton Southeastern. You've probably heard about that on the news quite a bit. Avon is an emerging community. There is much much activity happening in Avon in the Brownsburg area that is not listed. Carmel is north with Fishers. That one, I'll be honest with you, Carmel is a great community, but that is not going to be where you're going to want to put your investment dollar. The properties have already priced out to a point where it'd be very hard to realize and actualize a cash flow. However, if you were in for the long project, a 10 or 15-year hold, you certainly would probably be able to break even on that mortgage and watch the appreciation climb. And moving forward, Kristen. Oh,
sure. Just really quick. I found that stat today, and I wanted to include each one of those areas because I thought it was just incredible that not only did 4 areas that are right in the Indianapolis area make the top 100 best places to live in America, but they were in the top 25. All 4 of those areas. Fishers was number 1, and Greenwood was number 22, and Avon and Carmel fell in between that. But I just thought it was really cool that this market had 4 of the top 22 best places to live. So that's why I threw that in there.
That's great. that's great. And Kristen, out here we're Hoosiers. It's just Carmel. I know in California it's caramel, but we're just condensed it to Carmel. We're good here on Carmel. I will touch on that last
point.
There's
a Carmel in San Diego, so I'm fancy. Right. What can I say?
I'm fancy. But okay, so that last point, that's also, I'm glad that you circle back, because that last point is also very important. In our Constitution, it is written that that our budget must balance. We're not allowed to go into debt, so we always have to be at a break-even point or in a surplus. And I won't bog you down with details, but that's a strong thing. It's a strong feature of a state's fiscal responsibility to make sure that we are not a state that goes into debt. Okay, now we can move forward.
Okay.
Thank you. And these are fun new stats. So all of these, I will. You can read them as well as I can. We are ranked in 5 of the top 20 best cities for new college graduates. This is all based on strong efforts that have been working for 15 to 20 years to bring us to this point, to create a community and to create an environment that is going to foster the development of young graduates, young minds, and then be able to capitalize and work with the new skill set that we hear a lot about the millennials, but we don't hear enough good things about them. Is that they bring a whole new way of thinking that is mandatory for us to just navigate this new world of technology and new world of we're a global population. So our cities had that foresight to start developing a community that fosters all of that. And as you can see, that last stat, in just 2 years ago, we added 37,000 jobs, which if you attach a family to all of that, that's a lot of homes. Then that's a lot of housing that we need to provide. All right, moving forward. And this is you can review this stat as well as I can. This is how we have a very low number of unemployment, just a 3.2, and then moving all the way in July of 2017, and then moving forward into December of this past year, reducing it all the way to 2.8. We work hard to take care of our population, and we work hard to make sure that they have good jobs, good employment availability, as well as fantastic housing opportunities. All right, moving forward, Kristen.
Yep, and real quick before I move forward, that unemployment rate is going to correlate directly with the vacancy rate. So low unemployment rate also means low vacancy rate for all of you investors out there.
Great. Do you want to direct them to this one? This is a do you have a new report, Kristen? Is this an updated one?
Yeah, it's an updated one. We try to keep them as updated as possible. And so after when the quarter 4 data is available on the National Association of Realtors, we get that updated on our market data packets, and those are available for all of you guys to download for free on our website at marshallreddick.com. And you can actually click right on the market data, or you can do the slash down here as well. But you'll be able to see that for each and every market, and it'll be really comprehensive of everything that we've discussed tonight, as well as some additional information and statistics and graphs for all of you who like to see that kind of stuff as well.
Great. This is where we are going to. Is this Mike's next? Is this what's the next slide, Kristen, after this one?
I can go over these 2 slides. Yeah. So this slide is actually, pardon me, a bit outdated. This hasn't been updated since the new figures have come out for 2017. That median home price is actually up now to 172, I believe, from the previous slide, which is good for investors. We want to see a slow, steady rate of appreciation. We want to know that our property values are going up, and you're still going to get a really excellent property for a fraction of the cost that you would in California. The rents are still strong. You can see here the appreciation has been steady and stable. What we really like to point out is when the rest of the nation was, treading water and trying to keep their head above, Indianapolis values only fell by 7.72%. So even through 2008, the property value still remained very strong, and this has always been a really steady Eddie type of market. And you can see that every year since then there has been an increase, even though small, as you can see in 2011. The market has rebounded and surpassed where those values were at the quote high point in 2006 and 7. So you can see all of this info also on the Marshall Reddick website. And as I mentioned before, as soon as the data is released, we're able to update it. And this will be definitely will be updated very, very soon. So moving forward, and also this graph for you folks who haven't spent much time on the website yet, you'll see this with every property in Indianapolis. This graph will be included so that you can see exactly where that particular property falls in the class rating and how it fits in with the appreciation as well. The Zillow Rent Index, this is just to show you guys where the rental rates have gone. in the last couple of years. So the good news about this is that as the value of the homes are increasing, the rents are also increasing. And that's what makes the cash flow remain so strong in this market and why it continues to be one of our most popular areas for investors who are looking for that strong monthly income. So I'll throw it back to you guys to talk about the NAP and the different townships and what's going on out there right now and what areas you guys are liking.
Great. Thank you very much for walking us through some of those financials. That material will be kind of dense, so everybody out there listening, please circle back and do pay attention to those slides and take a look. The big takeaway is that we are in a constant state of moving forward and moving upwards. So looking at this this map, as you can see, the map of Indiana, we're in the geographical center of the state, and the counties that we are really servicing. Pardon me. Our capital is Marion County, and that is Indianapolis proper. And then as we move to the north, which is upward on your map, we have Hamilton County, we have Boone County, and then we have Madison. We don't spend a lot of time in Madison, although in Anderson, we have seen that properties are starting to come back and neighborhoods are starting to come back. And what we've seen in these other emerging markets is that the first dollars in, they make the most dollars out. And that's because the risk is higher when you're the first ones marching into a territory. And Anderson was a flourishing city for quite some time, and then when the automotive industry left, it suffered a setback. But now we are starting to see a resurgence because of job growth across multiple industries. And Sarah has quite a bit of connection to Anderson. She'll be able to touch on some of that and some of the properties that will be going up there when she speaks about the home specifically. Now, moving over to the west a little bit, we have Hamilton County. That's where your Fishers, your Carmel, and your Westfield, and that's the school district that's been in the national news for the last few years as one of the #1 school districts. And also that was topping out on the #1 place to live. What that means for you is that now, after we've had so much exposure to it, that the only properties that are left that make sense to the investors are the ones that have encumbrances and they're short sales or they're foreclosures. There's going to be more money going into the rehab. They're certainly there, but they are not the first choice for the investment plan that Marshall Reddick puts forward, which is finding a nice solid B-class property that is as nearly rent-rented as you can get, which means that, with a very little bit of capital investment on top of your purchase, you're able to then turn that into cash flow immediately. And then moving to our south, I'm going to jump around a little bit. We have Johnson County, and we have Morgan County and Shelby County. Now, Shelby County, we don't spend a lot of time out there because it is so rural. Every now and then we'll see, we had some success with a Marshall Reddick client who purchased up some multiple doors that were part of a little complex, but those are few and far between. I want to bring your attention to Johnson County, which is Greenwood, and like Kristen said, that was number 22 on the most desirable place to live in the country. And our south side, that's the south side of Indianapolis, or just outside of Indianapolis. Our south side tends to mirror and follow our north side. So what we see happening just now in Madison County, we've seen complete its arc in Hamilton County, is now beginning. We're about midway through at Johnson County and the southern portions of Indianapolis, which is Franklin Township. And you'll hear Sarah and I and Mike speak about Franklin Township quite a bit, because it's the asset price is lining up with cash flow, but we are saturating quickly. So Mike can elaborate on this, but an aggressive and an intelligent rental strategy is going to be key to bringing those occupancies down. It's a whole adage of, don't be penny wise and pound foolish. You need to get those homes occupied, and by coming into a price and making the numbers work below the rental average is going to secure your spot in that market. And one of the reasons that I use to justify that type of financial scenario is that you're looking at 10 and 15-year holds as the ideal strategy to maximize your investment. You'll be able to have rental increases as the market moves up, but you're also going to be experiencing a tremendous rate of appreciation. So when you are finished with your project and it's time to sell, you're going to want to be in some of these first dollar areas so that you're in low, rent reasonably, and then sell high when it's time. And like I said, you'll find that in the southern parts of Marion County and Franklin Township. You're starting to see it as Johnson County. It's also, there's a significant portion of that that's very rural, but the gaps are starting to close. So remember what we talked about when I said first dollars in. That's going to be important when you're looking at your long-term strategy. Now, moving to the west, we have solid markets in Speedway. We have emerging markets in Brownsburg. We have emerging markets in Avon. But they've always been consistent rentable areas. And to the east, these are the pink areas on your map. And this stays in Marion County. Lawrence Township is as close to Hancock County as we really like to get. There's some bodies of water out there that create some luxury properties, but between the city and those areas, we have a considerable a number of properties that are designed specifically for your hourly worker that need homes too. We see a lot of families in transitions that need to be cognizant of staying in the same school districts for children if there's multiple homes. These are all opportunities for you to rent. And Lawrence Township is a very strong area for, again, a nice purchase price, reasonable rent, and then moderate appreciation all the way through. That's going to be your workhorse. All right, Kristen, moving forward. Alrighty, so now I'm going to throw you over to Mike Taylor, who is the owner and proprietor of Red Door Property Management. What is it? Red Door Property Management is the company name. He's outside just being a great guy. I interviewed countless managers, and he is just the top of the field in the city. He's always available. He is there for consult. He's there and his company and support team make sure that you get rented quickly, you get marketed quickly. Repairs are made very quickly. It's access. They told me the first time I went out there, one of the adages that they like to use is that you're dating me, and I guess now you're dating Sarah and I, but you're marrying Mike. Mike is going to be your backbone here in Indianapolis. So I will let him take over from here and talk about his company and his processes for maximizing your profits in your portfolios.
Thanks, Christopher, and thanks, Kristen. Again, this is Mike Taylor with Red Door Property Management. We are a locally owned and operated property management company here in the Indianapolis area. We manage about 400 homes in the metro Indy area, single family. Most of them are single family. Some of them are multifamily. We've had a lot of success with some previous Marshall Reddick clients, and hope to have some success with you guys too. Just a little bit about me. I have over 15 years in the real estate industry, both in real estate and property management. I do own several rental homes, both here in Indianapolis and also in Florida. And the ones down in Florida, I do have a property management company that manages them for me, because it's something that's hard to do from long distance away. And so I recognize that. And so I have a management company that handles that down there for me. I did grow up in San Diego and then moved to Orlando, went to University of Central Florida, go Knights, and graduated with probably the most useless degree known to man. It is a combination of anthropology and computer science. So don't let your kids do that, okay? I am married. I've got 3 kids. I got an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 1-year-old. I like water sports, snowboarding, and CrossFit. That's just a little bit about me. Kristen, if you could go to the next slide.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. So, yeah, I imagine we probably have a big mix of people out there, maybe some people who have other investments and some people who maybe this will be their first investment. So, you know, we're a full service property management company. And, you know, when you hire a full service property management company, what we do is basically try to take everything off of your plate that comes with owning a rental home and owning it from a distance. We have tons of owners from across the country and across the world. I mean, we've got people in China and India and really all over the world. And so we try to use technology as much as we can to provide a better service at a better price for our clients. So really the full service of property management, really we try to take everything off of your plate that comes along with owning a rental home. So that includes, you know, once we come to an agreement and you say, hey, Mike, this sounds great, let's do this, then really the ball is in our court. So, you know, beginning with marketing, all of our homes come with professional photography. That sounds like a simple thing, but it's really a big thing when everything is online nowadays, and the first and only thing that they see is, you know, the first 1 or 2 photos. It's really important to put your best foot forward on those photos. So again, starting with marketing, professional photos, tenant placement, tenant screening. So we're going to show the home. We are going to meet tenants there. We are going to ask them to fill out an application. We have a very detailed screening process that we do. You know, it is our philosophy during screening that we would rather have a home sit vacant for an extra week or 2 rather than just kind of slam somebody in there, you know, because they filled out a rental application. It can cost you so much more to have a bad tenant in there than to have another week or 2 of vacancy. So we really put the extra effort on the tenant screening portion of that. That is the crux of getting good people in there. And so we really go the extra mile on the tenant screening. Of course, rent collection. All of our tenants are made to pay online. And so that's great because we know when they've paid. It's not, oh, the check is in the mail and then you got to wait for it to clear and all that kind of stuff. We know immediately. Maintenance coordination. So the tenants are calling us, not you guys, in the middle of the night. They actually won't know your names or numbers. They'll probably know your names, but they won't have your numbers or any access to you guys. We are the middleman for this rental property. They're contacting us for anything that's day to day. If something needs to be relayed to you, of course, we will reach out to you, let you know what's going on with the home, give you an estimate if there's an estimate that needs to be talked about, and then you can make the decision, and then we execute that plan. We do handle evictions, thankfully. You know, with these A and B type assets and with our tenant screening process, we don't have that happen too often, but you know, it does happen. So we do handle that on your behalf. We have an attorney that we work closely with. They give us a discount because we do send them all of our evictions. Evictions in Indiana, it's very owner friendly. In addition, our lease is very owner friendly. So just to kind of give you an idea, I know California is like crazy in terms of trying to get somebody evicted, but here in Indiana, if you have a tenant who's not paying, you know, we can have them out in 30 to 45 days, and cost of that is probably $600 to $700, something like that. So it's a fairly owner-friendly process in terms of eviction. And then financial reporting to owners. So at the end of every month, you get emailed an accounting statement that says, hey, we collected X amount in rent minus our management fees, and here's what's owed to you. And then ultimately we do a direct deposit into your account for the remaining balance of that. You can go to the next slide. Perfect. So Marshall Reddick, like I said, we've had a lot of success with Marshall Reddick clients, and to that effect, we do offer special pricing for Marshall Reddick clients. The leasing fee is 60% of the first month's rent. and that is charged when the home is rented. So we don't take anything up front. We don't get paid anything until the home is rented, and that is taken out of the first month's rent. So there's no money out of your pocket. There's really nothing that you have to pay us until we do our job and fill that vacancy for you. So that leasing fee is 60% of the first month's rent, and that is triggered if somebody does move out and we have to fill that vacancy again. That leasing fee does occur again, because there's a lot of work in terms of showing it and screening the tenants and all that kind of stuff. So that happens when we fill that vacancy. And then we have a flat monthly management fee of 8%. One of the cool things that we do is we never upcharge on maintenance or repairs. We just pass that along as just a pass-through charge to you guys. So that's, some management companies choose to use that as a source of revenue. We do not. We don't want that as a conflict of interest, and just feel like it's in the owner's best interest not to do that. A couple things that make us different is, like I said, we try to use technology to the best of our ability to provide the best service at the lowest prices to our customers. So a couple things that we do that are different is we do move-in and move-out inspection videos, in addition to a regular move-out or move-in and move-out inspection. Those videos are uploaded to YouTube and then emailed to the owners. So it's kind of a cool thing that you can actually see. You don't just have to rely on somebody's word of, just hope and trust that they went out there. You can actually see for yourself what the home looks like. Also, in that same vein, all of our homes, our standard fees come with a free inspection. We do that at month 3 of the lease. And the reason that we do that is because we feel like that is long enough for them to get in there and live in the home, but not long enough that they can do damage to the home. So at 3 months, we can find out if they've got a pet that they're not supposed to have, or if they're starting to hoard stuff or whatever it is, not treating the home right. We want to catch that and address that early in the lease versus waiting till the end of a lease to do a walkthrough inspection. So again, that inspection is not just something that we say, oh yeah, we went in and the house looks great. We actually do a video of the home. It's an exterior, interior video. And again, it's uploaded and emailed to you guys so that you can actually see the condition of the home for your own eyes. I think I mentioned this before, but all the tenants are required to pay online. And we have a very, very strict late policy. Our rent is due on the 1st and it's late on the 2nd. And that helps with the evictions. That helps get people out quickly. If we have somebody who's not paying, we want them out sooner rather than later, because that's costing you money. So every situation is unique, but if our rule is that if we haven't heard from somebody by the 15th of the month, then we're talking to you guys, the owners, letting you know what's going on. You guys ultimately make the call. But if we have no communication from somebody by the 15th, we're recommending that we go ahead and do that eviction. We do direct deposit for our owners. So again, at the end of the month, you will get a emailed accounting statement, and that will be the trigger for you to know that the deposit has been initiated, and it will be directly deposited into your account on the next banking day. And again, just kind of in that same vein, is that we're a totally paperless office. So if you start doing business with us, all of our contracts are online. We use DocuSign to sign all of our contracts. We use Dropbox to maintain all of our documents for our owners and our tenants. Actually, you never ever get a piece of mail from us. We do direct deposit. We collect rent online. Everything we do is online, so you'll never get a piece of mail from us. We're a totally paperless office. I think that might be it. Is there another slide, or is that it?
I believe that's it. We're going to go ahead and hop into properties now. But I just want to throw in there for everyone. I did mention that I own properties in Indianapolis. My husband and I do, and I really can vouch for everything that Mike is saying about Red Door and the way that they manage property, their systems and processes. My husband and I had a rather unpleasant experience with our previous management company, and Mike and his team got right in there, picked up and placed a new tenant for us. You know, we got the walkthrough videos via YouTube link. We got to look at the tenant application because we wanted to. You don't have to. They'll let you have a say if you want. But we got to, you know, make sure that they were placing a good tenant, and we got to see firsthand the vetting that they do, and you know, getting somebody in there, and they were able to rent our property quickly in the middle of winter, which you know, is really slow, especially in a city where it snows. It can take a little longer to rent those properties out. So, you know, like you said, everything is electronic. Everything is very transparent. And with that, I will send it back to you. And Sarah and Christopher are going to dive into the hand-selected inventory that they wanted to showcase for tonight's presentation.
Thanks, Kristen. Hi, I'm Sarah Van Bachlen, and I am the showing agent on the Jones team. My job is to pick properties from our current inventory to share with you on the Marshall Reddick site. So I have 4 today that I am going to talk a little bit about, and then I'm going to give it back over to Mike to finish up. You can go ahead and switch screens, Kristen. Okay. The first one is 5828 Victory Avenue. And this home is in Franklin Township, that area that Christopher talked about a little bit earlier, where the rentals are priced competitively and properties are moving very quickly. And it does have a positive cash flow. Basically what I do is I pull from our system, find properties that look like they would be something of interest to you that will also provide you the cash flow that you're looking for, and then feed them into the Marshall Reddick system for you to go over and me to be available to answer questions if you have any. So this property has 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. It is in the Franklin Township area. With that, you're getting areas that are close to the city, great school systems, lots of rentals. Franklin Township does have a lot of rental properties. So, and even with,
we just completed, this is
yes,
we just completed a search for buyers out here in Indianapolis and in Franklin Township, and it's just an overall great area. And Sarah was responsible for going in and out of most of these neighborhoods. So if you have specific questions about the area, she's a great resource to answer those questions. And in Victory Lane, this is going to be a fantastic opportunity because we're looking at almost immediate positive cash flow.
And your tenants would be my tenant's neighbors. One of my properties is in Franklin Township as well.
Same street, right?
Yeah. Yeah, are you
Not the same street.
no, not the same.
All right, let's move on to the next property, Kristen.
All right.
Okay, this one is at 8011 Crackling Lane. It has 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. It's just under 2,000 square foot. It is priced at $77.57 a square foot. The average for this neighborhood, average selling price per square foot for this neighborhood is $73.22 a square foot. So with what Christopher was mentioning earlier with the Franklin Township, it does appreciate quickly, but they also tend to move very fast, and you want to get in as soon as you can. This property, the rental estimate is $1,200 a month.
So Mike, well, we got Mike here. This is a unique opportunity. In Harmony, using our comp formula, we're seeing, would you say 1,200 as aggressive, or would you say that falls into a good place?
No, that's probably reasonable. I mean, the good news is that we are coming off of winter. We're getting into spring and summer, and so you know, if you look at average rents that you can get, it does actually dip down in the winter, and then it does pick up in the spring and the summer. So I mean, this is actually a great time to be looking to acquire something, because you will be hitting the meat of the market in terms of number of rentals renting and also average rents. So no, I would think going into the spring and the summer, that would be a reasonable rent.
So we're looking, it looks like for this neighborhood, in the last couple months, we have a little bit higher time on the market for rentals at 51 days. Do you think that by pricing a little bit more aggressively, like at maybe $11.95, would that make enough of an impact to bring it down within a month?
Yeah, and actually that 51 or 59, whatever you quoted, that's actually right on target in terms of average for winter. So if you look at it, winter versus spring and summer, that's actually very normal. So, you know, 50 to 60 is normal for winter. You're looking closer to 30 for spring and summer. So yes, I think that would be reasonable.
All right, great. Kristen, can we move on to the next slide? Next property. All right, great. We have another one on Crackling Drive in the Harmony neighborhood. I'll let Sarah present it.
This home also has 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. It is priced a little higher at $159. Still rent estimate at $1,200. And it does, okay, and it does show a positive cash flow as well. And
just staying with the theme with the neighborhood, this is Harmony. So what we just went over with Mike, that holds true. Again, Franklin Township, we're starting to see saturation. So to counteract that, some of these higher rents, you can reduce your time when you're not occupied by being a little bit more aggressive or adding in rental incentives. You really can structure this however you want and to get them onto a good solid rent cycle. By moving in now, in the month of March most likely will close, you know, by the first or second week of April. A typical conventional loan is going to be about 30 days to close. We can put them on a very strong renting cycle. What would you say for this neighborhood, Harmony and Franklin Township, are the most buyers, are the most renters out there?
It's really going to follow to just exactly like the sales cycle. So I mean, it ramps up in spring, April, May, and then June, July, and August are going to be your heaviest months. And so, you know, and this is one thing that we do tell people, is that if it is saturated, because I mean, there is some areas that are saturated and it can be tough to rent, but you know, sometimes $25 or $50 a month can make a huge difference. And it doesn't have to be for the life of the rental. You know, this can be one cycle, 1 6-month or 1 year cycle that you have, that you take a hit of $50 a month, you get it leased up quickly, it doesn't sit vacant, and then next year you raise it up back up that $50 and make up. So that's one of the things that we try to communicate to the investors is, you know, sometimes it does make sense to fill that vacancy, take the hit at $50 a month, get it rented quickly, and then next year look at raising that back up $50.
Great. I have to say, Kristen, we're ready to go to the next slide, but I enjoy doing this as a team. This is the first time for all of you out there in cyberspace that we're actually able to have all parties involved in the transaction in the same room working together. So that's just a personal aside. But as we move on to 10234 West Draycott, we're moving into Lawrence Township, which, if you remember from our map, that is east of the city, and our area that is more of a solid hourly worker. The prices are going to be a little bit lower, but this is we're looking at 154.9 for this one, so this is going to be a nicer area, and I will let Sarah present this to you with the numbers.
All right. This home has a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath. It's 1,980 square feet. Super cute. This is actually a neighborhood that I showed quite a few houses in the last couple months. This one has a completely remodeled half bath on the main level, new wood laminate flooring downstairs, new carpet upstairs. New countertop, sink, and flooring in the upstairs bathroom. Lots of new paint, and all the appliances are included, including the washer and dryer. This one is new on the market within the last 3 days. The rent estimate is right at $13.95 for this property. This is in one of the nicer neighborhoods in Lawrence area. And this one also has a very low HOA. So if you're looking at keeping some fees down, this one's $180 a year. And it does have positive income as well. And then I'm going to bring Mike in on the price. What am I doing?
$13.95. Mike's just Mike's opinion.
Oh,
we have them,
Mike's opinion.
$13.95 for this neighborhood.
Yeah, I think $13.95 is reasonable. Again, we are hitting the spring and summer cycle, so I think that seems reasonable. But yeah, I mean, because it's a 4-bedroom, it's got the stats there. I would need to pull up this particular neighborhood, but at first glance, that seems totally reasonable, totally doable.
Great. All right, Kristen.
And I wanted to comment really quick, if I could, on the HOA, because a lot of the single-family homes in the Indianapolis market do carry a small HOA like this one, and I'm sure a lot of our California investors are thinking, what, an HOA on a single family? But it really does serve to keep the value and the quality of the neighborhood up. And, you know, you'll get, the HOA will notify you if there's cars that haven't moved in too many days, or trash cans that are sitting outside of the home for too long. And the HOA really does serve to maintain the quality of the neighborhood when you purchase. And so also, you know, take a look at that, because your HOA fee here is $16 a month, which is going to equate to about $250 annually. And most California HOAs are going to be $250 or more each month. So for a small cost, you're actually helping to maintain and maybe even improve the quality of that neighborhood. So when you see the HOAs on these properties, don't let that turn you off immediately, because they're not a bad thing.
And also to build onto that, there are legislative requirements when these communities are constructed. If they're sharing common space and they're sharing common plumbing, that the HOA is a requirement for these areas to be maintained. So that is, a lot of times your HOA, we're re-educating our folks down here that when we're in a condo situation, and we try to use the word building fees when we're in condos and building fees, but then when we're in single families, we move to the term HOA just because of equating the home with the home. That's something that happens. But almost all of them are going to be nominal, like as Kristen mentioned. It's going to be dollars a month, and they are going to be in almost all of the neighborhoods that you're going to want to purchase and to have more recent builds for your portfolio. All right, now, Kristen, how many Top Creek slides do we have? Because I'm going to present these as a bundle. We have this one.
Yep. Just one of the Top Creek slides.
Okay, so we just have the one. Okay, all right. This particular investor that we're working with, this is actually an opportunity for us to present to you something that's exclusive to Marshall Reddick right now. It's not. It's being held off market. It's being listed. It's being listed with me, and it's being matriculated out to you, Marshall Reddick investors first. But then the next phase is going to be sending it to all of the property managers that work with investors. Mike, of course, is going to get first choice because he's actually managing this property, and he'll be able to speak to a little bit of the area. But this is unique. If we can go back, Kristen, because these properties are being sold not by the door; they're being sold by the building. So when we're looking at these prices on this spec sheet, on this pro forma, what we're looking at is the entire property with the actual rent rolls. All of the doors are rented, And the price we have listed is if you were to buy basically one building or 2 doors. Now we also have, if you go to the Marshall Reddick site and you look at all the Top Creek properties, you'll see in the notes that the entire pricing structure is there, because who we're looking for to buy these properties is a buyer that has a lot of cash that maybe coming out of a 1031 and needs to reinvest it. So we've structured it so if you buy more than the one property, we have a total of 4 properties on Top Creek, and this is the Chapel Glen neighborhood out on the west side. We have 2 two-story duplexes, and we have 2 single-story duplexes. And if we sell the one property 2 doors, it's $248,500 as listed. If we sell the 2 two-story duplexes together, both of those buildings, that price is reduced by $8,500 per building for $240 each, or $480,000. Now the 2 single stories are going for $235 a piece, and if we buy the 3, and this is all tracked out on each one of these listings on Marshall Reddick, so don't feel like you have to take notes. But if you buy the 3 duplexes together, $693,000 or $231 each, and then if you were to buy the full portfolio of 4 duplexes, 8 doors, that's $910,000 or $227,500 a piece. And all the rent rolls are also listed on the Marshall Reddick site. If you were to go look at that, what I just read to you, you'll be able to see and print out and keep for your notes. Mike, do you have any comments on the area, the west side area, that you'd like to share?
Just that we do currently manage these. They are all full. We inherited this from another property manager who wasn't quite as diligent, and I think we flushed out a couple bad tenants in there, and got this property on the upswing for sure. The owner has put some money into there. I know that we've done a couple rehabs on some properties, so this would be a really good time to pick this up, because the owner has spent some money to keep this up, and we've got, I think, all of our tenants in there, so we feel much better about these guys than the previous group that was in there. So great. We feel like we got a solid group of people in there that are paying on time, and the owners put some money in there, so it's a good time to pick it up. Great. So all those leases are all new. Are these all originated by you? All 8? I don't know if they're all 8 are, but at least 6 of the 8 are. Okay, great. That's fantastic, and that's also important. And that, I believe that is our last property. Kristen's going to go to a survey, but I do want to throw out one little teaser, and I told Kristen about this. I have a property that is coming onto the market. The ink is drying on the contracts, and Mike's going to do a little bit of work on it before we put it out onto the site. But we're going to give everybody who attends this contract the first crack at it. And it is in Hamilton Southeastern. It's in the Noblesville area, and it has been a rental for quite some time. So tomorrow, when you receive your "thank you for joining us" note, look for the link that will take you to the Marshall Reddick pro forma on this, and you'll be able to see a preview before anybody else gets it of this property that could be a strong first asset or a strong addition to your portfolio. All right, Kristen, thank you.
Thank you, Christopher. I bet you attendees didn't know you were going to get a special incentive and a treat tonight for joining us. All right, we're going to jump on into our second poll here. And I see that we're a little bit over our time, so I'm going to wrap this up pretty quickly. Let's go ahead and launch this one. And this is just to let us know what properties you guys like, so that we know how to tailor our presentations for the future, how many folks are looking at what types of properties. So let us know really quickly which one interested you the most, which one looks the best to you based on the numbers and the returns and all of the details we got from Sarah, Christopher, and Mike. And again, that just lets us know what we can do next time to kind of beef up the interest, if you will. So Looks like we've got, I think some of you fell asleep. I'll give you a few more seconds to vote on this, but I don't see a very high percentage of listeners who have voted. We may just have to close it out early. I know that we're getting late. I don't want to hang out here for too much longer. I know you guys have families and stuff to do. All right, so 3, 2, 1, and let's go ahead and close it out and let's share the results. All right, so 7% of our viewers liked 8011 Crackling Drive. I just like the name of that, really. I think it's fun. Who wouldn't want to own a property on Crackling Drive? Anyways, 36% were interested in Victory Avenue, 21% on the other Crackling Drive, 7% on Draycott Way, and 29% on the duplex. And keep in mind that there's multiple of those duplex properties, like Christopher mentioned, and you can see all of them on the Marshall Reddick website. And of course, let us know if you are interested. So let's go ahead and hide that for now. We will get through the rest of the presentation here. So your power team, of course, for the Indianapolis market is your Marshall Reddick Real Estate Advisor. If you don't have one yet, I would love to speak with you and find out more about your investment goals and how we can help you out. Of course, it's your regional rep, Christopher Haven Jones, and his showing agent, Sarah. They work hand in hand to make sure that our clients get exactly what they want. And of course, your property manager, Mike Taylor, and his team at Red Door Property Management. So if you are interested in scheduling a consultation, you can do so via the Marshall Reddick website, or you can contact me directly. My contact information is here on the page. 949-885-5162 is my direct line. And my direct email is ctavar@marshallreddick.com. So you guys can reach out to me anytime for any reason. And like I mentioned, I own property in Indianapolis. It's been a very successful market for me and my husband. We love the team out there, and I'm always happy to share my personal experience with all of you fine folks. Really quick, what does that consultation look like? I'm going to speed through this a little bit, but of course, if you're interested, we'll definitely spend some more time on the phone talking, but we'll talk about your goals. We'll talk about what your finance options are, decide on a time frame that suits you, what your property criteria looks like, your markets, and the criteria, your time frame, and your purchasing options are really going to help us to determine which market is going to best suit your needs as well. And of course, then we have identified a market and we introduce you to the key players. And that would be, of course, Christopher, Sarah, and Mike, when we decide that the Indianapolis market is in fact the best one for you. So we're a little late on time. It's 7:45, and so we don't have time to do any more questions. I was able to answer a few of you who were able to chime in as the presentation went on, but fear not, because we will make sure that everyone gets a follow-up call tomorrow, and you will get the email, as Christopher mentioned. So we will make sure that everyone's questions get answered, and if you have any other comments or feedback, we'd love to hear that as well. We are, of course, on every social media platform known to man. We want to be able to connect with our clients and have you guys be able to connect with us. So you can find us here. You can find us on our website at marshallreddick.com. And it has been a pleasure to have all of you Marshall Reddick clients join us tonight. And a very special thanks to our Indianapolis team, Christopher, Sarah, and Mike. It's 10:45 p.m. out there, and they've spent the last hour and a half with us talking all about the marketing. Guys, we really appreciate it. Thank you so much for being on tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's our pleasure.
All right, guys, have a great night. Thanks, everyone.